exciting things are happening.
It is.
What week is it?
Oh. Get your short court week. So, in this episode, it's all the chassis work. So we're doing the A-frame, axle, suspension, new hangers, new couple hitch, and handbrake to go with it. We'll have electric brakes on there too, so stoked for that setup.
So good. It's going to look so much better. Look at the example of like OG tyres.
Oh,
new tyres.
Let's line these tyres up together.
We didn't want to go like ridiculously big, but obviously big enough to somewhat make a difference. Yeah, that's good. Also, being an old caravan, we didn't want it to be like too beefy. You want to have somewhat of the vibe.
Yeah, that's why I don't like. I need to get it higher. It's going to go up 3 inches in total, maybe 4 by the time the suspension is different. But yeah, definitely going to be higher.
So good, which will match a bit better with the 60, right?
Yeah, should do. But at the moment, it tows like perfectly. It's like you can't even make it sway if you try. So hopefully
and that's while it's empty, so you think it sways more when they're like lighter, right?
No, it's just a weight.
Oh.
Distribution.
What do you think? The site supervisor's back.
Yeah. So I better get to work then. Don't want to get the sack.
First things first, clean the workshop. We're at Luke's brother's house, so that's where we're doing all the like drawbar, axle work, all the welding work. It's going to be here for the next few days. So clean. And then I believe Luke is cutting this off today. So he's doing some prep work for a friend of ours that's going to be doing the welding.
Yeah, we have a professional welder coming.
Yeah, which is really good.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I wouldn't have had much confidence if Luke was...
I've never used a welder. I've used a welder once, and that was the other day, and Scott, my brother, was just showing me how to tack.
Yeah.
So
yeah, do some prep work before Old Mate comes. So we've got a few days to get this all done, which I think we should be fine.
Day and a half, yeah.
Or day and a half. That's only like at 10 a.m. But yeah, so big week this week, exciting week. Hey, Bubba.
We did.
But yeah, we'll run you through all the gear.
Yeah.
It was actually a lot more affordable than we thought it was going to be to buy this stuff. Like when Luke first mentioned it to me, I was like, oh, money pit, we are going to be spending too much doing all this, because originally we weren't going to do this. We were just going to leave it as is.
Which is fine. It's all perfectly good.
Yeah, which is totally fine. We know of caravans that, like ours, that get dragged through literally anything, and they're still all original. So you don't have to do this, but we realised it was quite cost effective to do it, and then we at least know that we're going to be a bit more capable and hopefully not really get stuck anywhere and kind of get the caravan where we want to get it. So
yeah, a little bit more height.
Yeah, that too.
So more room for a toolbox here, which is one of the main things that we can't have because this drawbar is so short. The kit we got is like an outback kit, so
should be good.
Can handle a bit more weight, a bit stronger.
Yeah. There you go. Gonna get into it. I don't know what OC and I are going to be doing, but we'll help where we can.
Yeah, you have them chalk some line.
Come on, OC.
The first thing I'm going to do here is mark out the existing chassis and drawbar, where the hangers are and everything. It's just going to go on the ground here. And then I'll mark where the new drawbar and hangers will go, just so I can get some lengths. If you're not so sure about something, just draw the whole thing in a 1:1 scale, and then that's going to give you a better idea of what's happening. It's a bit hard to see, but I've got my center line here. These are my outer chassis lines running down there. And then this is the current length of the drawbar. I'm just going to draw the drawbar in and see how far I can extend it. Alright, so I got the existing A-frame drawn up. I nearly made a mistake there, but it's been rectified. It's not 100% necessary to draw the existing A-frame, but I want to use it to see how much further I actually bring the new A-frame down. You can see the chassis where they're all meeting. So I'll extend the chassis lines down so I can see where the new A-frame is going to meet. Alright, so I'm going to just bring the drawbar an extra 500mm forwards. I'll just show you, like, this line here is the front of the chassis, but the Caravan comes forward of that. So the Caravan actually sits here. So I've only got like 700mm to the front of the Caravan, which is just crazy short. So I think if I bring it another 500 forward, and then by the time I put a toolbox and stuff on there, it'll probably be about the same. But at least the toolbox won't be super wide. It's going to sit in a bit further. Let's draw that up. So I've also worked out where the new hangers are going to sit, because the springs are different size from eye to eye. I've got the center of the existing hanger, checked the difference between the springs. It was 120, so I moved this one 60mm forward to the center. And the reason I've worked out the hangers for the drawbar is so I can bring the drawbar back quite a bit further than what it's got. So this is all that is overlapping in the chassis and drawbar at the moment. And if I bring it back further, it's just going to be stronger and more points to weld to. This is the extension we've got. So yeah, definitely beefier steel. This one's 50mm, that's 40mm. The extension ended up being 500, and then you can see the difference here. The new steel coming through here, it's only a touch longer. I didn't go a lot longer like I thought, because the chassis underneath has been strengthened from the front to this mark. So I just wanted to keep the drawbar there, and then there's a gap of just normal chassis, and then it's been strengthened again from about here back. So I just wanted to keep most of the A-frame on the strengthened section. Exciting stuff. Not too much longer, but long enough to make a difference. So this is our new axle kit. You just buy it as one whole kit. I'll put the link down in the description. So it's basically an outback kit. It's rated for 2 ton. We're not going to make 2 ton, but the springs just come in the kit with the axle. It's got 12-inch brakes, and I've got 6-stud Land Cruiser pattern for the wheels. Comes with the hangers and shackles. This is a 50x50 solid axle. Alright, with this coupling, it's good because it rotates whichever way you want. You're going to bring your car up and around like that, and then back down. You don't want to max out the pivoting on a standard coupling. This one, it's a Alko branded one. It's rated to 3.5 ton, which is just way above what I need. And it's still got the 50mm ball attachment thing, so I don't need any special pins or anything. Right, now that we've worked everything out, we're going to lift the Caravan up now, strip all the accessories, grind the drawbar off, get rid of the axle, springs, grind the mounts off, get a nice clean slate to start working with. Day 2 on the chassis drawbar situation. So what we've got here is, this is 100x50 3mm RHS, whatever they call it, or box section, call it what you want. 2 of them running up here, and then for the couple hitch, I'm going to have a 10mm plate. Right, yeah, so I'm going to have the hitch at the bottom of the A-frame. This is because if we end up too high with the caravan, it's easier to rectify with the toe hitch. So I can adjust the toe hitch to lower it. I will have another piece going across here, but I'll measure and cut that once it's installed. My main objective today is to have this ready for Rookie tomorrow, and then he can just buzz it all on there and it'll be good. Right, so I've got all the material for the main parts of the drawbar cut precise and exactly where I want them. One of the best things about doing a 1-to-1 size template, all your measurements are done, so you can just transfer the marks straight onto your material. You just sit the material on top, draw a line with the markers, square it all up and start cutting. Alright, so we got the new A-frame installed. It was all hands on deck. Had my brother and dad helping, so filmed some of it, not a lot, but we smashed out heaps. Now I'm just going to chuck in this cross member and it'll strengthen up the drawbar a bit, stop it from twisting so much. Alright, it's all going in the workshop today, which is great. Got 2 welders on the caravan. My brother's just tacking stuff on and Ricky's doing all the structural welding. I got my long sleeve shirt on so I don't get burnt by the welders. So I look proper country now. So one important thing that we needed to get right with the new A-frame is to get it square and straight with the chassis. To get it straight and square, we just measured halved the chassis width, marked it down the back, halved it again, marked it at the front, and then ran it all the way up through here. And you can see there's a center line here. We just ran the string line all the way through, and that gave us a nice dead straight line. And another thing we also did was just to tack the back corners in place. I measured back off the front of the chassis to the back points of the A-frame on each side, and we tacked it at the back, and then we set up the string line, pulled the front around till it was straight, and then we tacked this back corner, and that pretty much set it in the right spot. And then we tacked here, and then I've also put this little strengthening cross section in. I put it in 500mm back from the front plate because the front plate is giving it a lot of strength anyway, and then I've moved it back again. With the hangers, to get these square, we measured off the front of the chassis, both sides, and then welded the front ones in place. With the rear hanger over here is this measurement, eye to eye, center to center, plus 25mm. And then that was the center of that eye. And then the shackle will sit on a slight little angle like that while it's jacked up. And then when it's down, it will probably sit in like that. Should. If it doesn't, then we've got to move the hangers. But yeah, that's both of them in place. A good way to check these hangers are square as well is to butt your tape measure into the front inside edge and measure to a center, that same center line up on the front A-frame. So you need to get the same measurement for each mount and you should be good. These are just the U-bolts to bolt the axles to the springs, and then we bolt the springs to the mounts.
Oh, so it will be like up there.
And then she's mounted.
Oh, and then that is that pretty much it for all that stuff?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Not enough of it, I know that much.
Oh, so this is how this goes. It's just like little bits,
Yeah.
like sections.
Look at this. Souped up. This is what we bought.
Yeah. Oh,
And then Ricky made all this.
oh, right.
Here's a weapon.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome.
It ain't gonna break.
Huh?
She's not gonna break. And then the other thick plate on the drawbar, you can have a look at that where it's mounted to the drawbar. The last 2 days have been pretty hectic. Big days getting all of this sorted. So I can't remember exactly what I've told you guys. So I'm just gonna run through all the products we've got, what we used, and how we did things. Just so I make sure I don't miss anything that you guys could possibly use. All our products we bought from Hunstman Products. They're down in Melbourne. They were just cheaper, easy to deal with, and yeah, so that's pretty much everything I show you product-wise is that from there. This is an Alko off-road hitch, so it rotates and forward and back as well. Also, it's a electric brake one, so it doesn't have the clip here, but it does have a handbrake there for the handbrake. We went with double chains, just so you can crisscross it under the tow hitch. It's more likely to catch it and hold it up off the road if something goes wrong. So for the A-frame itself, we used 50 by 100 3mm box section or RHS, whatever you want to call it, same thing. And then for the hitch mount, we used a 10mm plate, so it's super strong. Won't have any problems with that. And yeah, down here is just an 8-inch jockey wheel, just a flip up one, cross section here, same size box. Pretty important one for you to remember if you're going to weld it this way. So we put here a large plate for our gusset to go onto. What you don't want to do is weld in a straight line down your drawbar because that can weaken it. And I've seen on the old Viscount group and some caravans where everyone's like, why is my A-frame snapped right where it joins to the chassis? It's probably because you've got a straight line welded all the way down your box section. So as you can see there, we have curved the plate, so it's not a straight line, and hole sawed out some holes in this plate so we can get more weld in there. And then the gusset is welded onto the plate and then across the chassis. So a good one to remember, if you're going to put a gusset here, don't weld it onto that. We'll go under now and have a look, see what we can find to show you. Yeah, so this was a bit of a little dilemma here. We had this step that goes into the caravan. It's all plate and all welded to the chassis, so we welded our A-frame onto that because that's what the old one was welded to. On this side was a bit easier. You just hung it over there. Haven't quite finished this one yet. We're going to put a piece of plate on here, welded all around, and then a spot here. The chassis rail has actually got a bit of a crimp in it. Pretty sure that's for a bit of strength. So weld here, just a couple of spots, and that'll just give it a little bit more. But this is all welded all across there, down there, and then down there. You can see where the original bar was welded up here, and we've extended it a lot further back just to get more overlap, make it a bit stronger. And this is the fish plate and gusset on the other side. Coming down here to the so we've lifted the whole caravan and essentially put this bit of box here, just lifted the whole chassis, and that runs the entire length just to give it a lot of strength, and that's the same down both sides. 50mm box, 3mm all the way down, and over here, so this is the axle 2-ton kit, off-road kit from Hunstman. It comes with the springs, axles, this mount, and the brakes, 12-inch electric. I'll just show you this with the, so this section here is the only part you get from Hunstman's, and then we've added an extra fish plate on top of that on the chassis. So this was welded in place, then this was welded up, and then welded from that to that. So they're never going anywhere, and luckily I got all the measurements right and everything works perfectly, because there is no way I would be getting those bounce off without destroying that new bit of box section there. And yeah, the box section is stitched all the way down there. It looks like he's done 50mm stitches, 200mm gap, 50mm, 200 gap, 50mm, all the way down. Same on both sides. Yeah. The axle itself is 50x50 solid axle. It's quite a heavy unit. Another thing that we haven't put on yet, which you'll probably see me doing soon, is the shockeys. Got some shockeys. There's a plate that goes on here, a bracket that welds on the box, and then the shockeys will go up on a slight angle towards the back. Now we can come out here. So these are now 15-inch rims, and the wheel size is 195 R15.
if you put it into other tyre sizes, it'll probably be 195/80 R15, which is 28 point something inches. And I think that's 2 inches larger than the original wheels that I had on there. And just for reference, everything I've done here has lifted the whole caravan 5.6 inches, which is 140 millimeters. There's nothing in the caravan at the moment, so it's obviously going to come down a little bit. I reckon we'll be sitting at 5 inches higher than our original height. Just wiring these brakes in now. They're pretty easy to wire in. There's no positive or negative, so you just need a dual core to run from one brake across to the side that you're going to run your trailer connection down there, and then I'll wire this one into that, and then I'll do another dual core from here up to my wiring harness. Alright, I nearly forgot to show what's happening here, but so the dual core that I ran back to the brakes, here's the red cable from it, there's the black cable from it, goes into the negative, which is the white on your trailer plug, and into the blue for the brake controller.
You guys are twinning in blue shirts. These two are related. See, Matt?
Trying to diesel snake us out.
Yeah, apparently.
Alright, she's going on the 60.
Put it on, put it on, put it on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Miss Rachel.
So there's still like a few things that we've got to do, like trim the chains up and put the handbrake on and stuff, but we just wanted to put it on and see what she's like, see what the levers are like.
Oh, we, you and Scott.
We, you and me.
We.
And Scott.
I was happily eating an Anzac Bicky. Osie was asleep.
I'll go back and sleep then.
No. I want to see what it's all about. You guys were quick. I feel like I wasn't even inside for that long.
He's a bit bummed down, I think, but once there's a bit of weight here.
Bummed down? Well, once even the toolbox.
Toolbox and stuff, a bit more weight on here.
Toolbox, and remember there's literally nothing in the caravan right now. Yeah. Go. Oh, she's high. Yeah, sick door.